The weather threat not over in Texas. Let's get to CNN's Isabel Rosales in Center Point, Texas, for the latest on what you're seeing there. Isabel.
John, yeah, Center Point just southeast of Hunt, about 25 miles away. Still impacted by the Guadalupe River and the tributaries there that feed into the river. And what we're seeing out here by a volunteer fire department is a lot of activity. We're seeing volunteers rolling in truck after truck after truck. They're bringing in heavy machinery. Like you can see over there, they're removing this gravel from what appears to be a boat ramp here, just clearing the way. Not just there, but look at all of this work that they have ahead of them. Heavy tree limbs all over the place. And the work is not easy for these hundreds of volunteers who are carefully combing through this area, making sure that they're not missing any victims. And they're searching underneath these heavy piles of debris and into holes exactly like this one. So many areas where somebody, a victim, might be found. I want to actually introduce you to Michael, who is a Marine. Michael, you tell me about what actually inspired you to come out here, because you're from this community.
Yes, and honestly, what inspired me is the fact that I figured I could be prioritizing myself in an important way. Even though I'm not actively involved as a first responder and everything, I figured I can at least come and help relieve them of some stress and exhaustion. And also, it's my community. Like, my fiance is from, she's a nurse over in this community. I work in this community. We have friends and family in this community. And honestly, my biggest passion that kind of brought me out here is just, if anything, to find closure for the families. Because we don't know what we're going to find, if we're going to find anything, but at least the fact that we can find closure for each and every individual and family member, especially for the children that were lost at the camps and are still missing. I figured I could be doing my part just as much as these first responders and active personnel are doing.
Yeah, and you're actually out here with your mother, too. You took your entire family out here to help out, and it's incredible seeing the love from this community to lend their time to search for these missing people. What can we expect to see today out here that we haven't seen for the past few days?
So, honestly, it's really just more search and recovery. Hopefully, people turn up missing, but at the same time, we're prepared for more of a recovery effort. But at the same time, today's brunt force is going to be more pulling debris.
Actually removing all this stuff out of the way.
And I mean, you can see already there's workers going like digging and then also cutting and everything. So our job is going to be more of like the heavy lifting, pulling debris, actually like finding through a lot of this brush. Now, I know that up towards Hunt and everything, they're still expecting possibly more storm surges, so we have to be.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, and we have to be on the lookout for that too. I mean, we had to evacuate the area yesterday because they had more flooding. So it's kind of mentally challenging because you hear a weather warning now, and where we typically blow off the weather warnings, it's kind of like we have a little bit of trauma now because it's like you don't know what to expect now. Especially with hearing that flooding came up about 30 feet in 45 minutes on the first day. So the fact that...
You have to take it seriously, of course.
Yeah, and the fact that it could just happen so fast in an instant, like, we just have to be prepared for anything.
Michael, thank you so much for your time and the work that you guys are doing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. John, back to you.
So wonderful to see people like Michael and his mother out there doing what they can at this moment. Isabel Rosales, thank you for being in Center Point, Texas. And for more information about how you can help the flood victims there, go to cnn.com/impact or text FLOOD to 707070.
Search and rescue efforts getting back underway this morning. CNN's Josh Campbell has much more on those exact efforts as they're so necessary at this hour. Josh, what are you learning?
Yeah, we've just seen numerous resources being brought in from around the state, indeed from other states offering resources as well. We know that when this first started on Friday, on July 4th, that the U.S. Coast Guard was called up in order to provide their specialized helicopters to come in and do search and rescue, the Texas National Guard. And then you had a bunch of ground teams that continued at this hour, still looking and trying to rescue people. We're also told that the Texas Military Department got approval to fly Reaper drones Those are flying now. They've been launched out of Houston along a specialized route that the FAA provided in order to provide that overwatch. So a massive effort. Of course, there are a lot of questions from local residents as well about the alerts that may not have gone out early on. I mean, that's a big question that people there still want answers to. And I'll just tell you, I mean, personally, as a reporter, we don't want to become the story. It's actually kind of cringy, but I'll do it in this instance just to say that I'm actually from this area. I lived not far from Camp Mystic along the Guadalupe. I was watching those images of my old school being used as an evacuation zone as those helicopters were landing. And I've just been on the phone nonstop with people who still can't believe what happened. I mean, I talked to my mom yesterday who said that even days later, she is still crying nonstop just because of what happened to this area. And for those who know the Hill Country, I mean, when you say the word community, that's not really a place. It's a state of being there. This is a place where people come together, where you look out for your neighbor. It's an area where a lot of visitors come into town as well in order to enjoy the recreation. And the community wraps their arms around people who come in on any given day, but especially here during a time of tragedy. The final point I'll make as well is I'm very familiar with these camps, particularly with Camp Mystic. Two quick things. I mean, the first thing is I think we're going to hear some really powerful stories of the camp counselors we're working to save those little ones. And when we talk about camp counselors, we're talking about people that are probably 18, 22 years old. So young people themselves trying to rescue those. And then, the last thing I'll just mention is when you talk about the river itself. I mean, this is obviously a place of recreation. It's a place that people there respect. They prepare for these kind of things. But again, I circle back. A lot of people that I've been talking to, no one knows anyone who actually got an alert that this was coming. So there will be a question about whether more could have been done in order to provide awareness.
Yeah. Josh, thank you so much for that perspective. It's good to see you. Sarah.
All right. We want to show you now some new video that's just into CNN. It shows a dramatic moment. Teams rescued 2 people in Central Texas and brought them to shore as floodwaters rage. Those 2 lights you're seeing there blare at you, those 2 lights are rescuers in a boat grabbing people. The 2 people were clinging to a tree. This happened in the town of Marble Falls, which is in Burnett County. Joining me now is Alan Trevino, Chief Deputy of Burnett County Sheriff's Office. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I know this has been a horrific time in your community and for your first responders just trying to save people. At one point this weekend, there were 5 people missing, 3 people who were killed in your county due to this flash flood. What is the latest on the rescue and recovery effort there now?
Thank you for having me. Yes, our current totals are still 3 that have been recovered bodies, and now our numbers are down to 3 missing and 63 documented rescues of people that we have either plucked from trees, rooftops, homes that are considered a rescue from the number of law enforcement, fire and EMS, and private citizens that have assisted.
We understand that one of the people missing is a volunteer fire chief named Michael Phillips. What can you tell us about him and where he was and what he might have been doing when the flash flood happened?
He was in an area called Cow Creek and was responding to a rescue. And as soon as his vehicle went off the road, we knew that was the case. We had our deputies traveling the county, checking low water spots as the rain was coming in. And we had 3 of our own deputies that were stranded on roadways, safe but stranded. And we watched as, unfortunately, as his vehicle did go off the roadway.
I'm so sorry to hear that, and sorry to hear that he is still missing at this hour. Can you explain to me or answer the question, like, why do you think so many people were caught off guard? There have been a lot of discussions between the state officials sort of saying, look, the National Weather Service didn't get us the information fast enough or make it as severe as they should have. Why do you think so many people just didn't get out in time?
And I'm not to point blame at anybody, but I think from our standpoint, we had had a significant amount of rain the day before, and we were able to. It was manageable, and in speaking with other counties and looking for resources and watching the weather. When I went to bed that night, it was we were not going to get the same amount of rain that what we got, and once it hit roughly 3:30 when our alerts started going off, and then certainly whenever the volunteer fire chief went missing, when his vehicle went off, is whenever we had a significant response. But at night, when everybody's in bed, and it makes it worse because you can't see, and the responders can't see as they're coming to the different rescue locations.